People have to wonder, where does Sunny Hostin get her opinions?
Yeah.
Like you said, and it's obviously from her husband. She has to tell her what to say on The View, because without, she's got nothing up there. She's not very bright. So, but the problem with her is that she went full race. Hostin sounds like a town. We're in Sunny Hostin. She was on PBS's Finding Your Roots, dedicated to researching celebrity ancestry. For context, Sunny is a staunch supporter of reparations and has made a fortune spewing nonsense about white privilege and racial justice.
One of The View's most daring and controversial hosts, Sunny Hostin, was recently embroiled in a scandal so full of irony that it could have easily passed for a Hollywood screenplay. Hostin is renowned for her unwavering position on divisive issues such as identity politics, reparations, and race. She is a shining example of self-assurance, pride, and unreserved honesty. She never hesitates to voice her opinions or question the current quo, and she is always prepared to point out injustice when she witnesses it. Her fervent dedication to racial fairness and her representation of moral rectitude form the cornerstone of her brand. Expectations were extremely high when she appeared on PBS's Finding Your Roots, a program where celebrities explore their history. Her admirers were excitedly awaiting a family history that would complement her strong public image. Many were hoping for a story of enduring action, or maybe an ancestor whose life exemplified the fight for justice and tenacity. But everyone, even Sunny, was in complete shock at what had happened. As the genealogy investigation progressed, Sunny uncovered a family history that not only caught everyone off guard but also contrasted sharply with her long-held belief in her own moral superiority. The disclosure was quite startling and went against the very principles she had so adamantly supported. Sunny and her admirers were completely taken aback by the disclosure, which rocked the internet community. What had she discovered exactly? To put it simply, you won't want to miss this storyline surprise. Before we get into this shocking finding, be sure to press the like and subscribe buttons if you enjoy juicy Hollywood disclosures. Sunny Hostin was anxious to learn the truth about her family's origins as she sat across from famed genealogist Henry Louis Gates, Jr., but she had no idea that the bombshell that was about to be revealed would completely upend her story. What started off as an enlightening or even inspirational journey swiftly devolved into a breathtaking experience. Sunny was shocked to learn that her forebears weren't the oppressed minorities or suffering immigrants she had always thought they were. Actually, their history was far more sinister. They had slaves.
I'm in a little bit shocked. I just always thought of myself as Puerto Rican, half Puerto Rican. Didn't think I was, my family was originally from Spain and slaveholders.
Yeah. So how are you feeling, my friend?
I think it's actually pretty interesting that my husband and I shared.
Yes, that is what you heard. Sunny Hostin's life was appended by a startling discovery that clearly linked her own family to the system she had been working against, following years of fervently condemning the horrors of slavery and calling for reparations. She was in complete shock, discomfort, and bewilderment at the revelation. She reluctantly acknowledged that she never thought her family had any connection to Spanish heritage, much less slaveholding, as she struggled to understand the seriousness of the issue. She spoke in a clumsy hurry, as though she was having trouble balancing her words with the reality she had always experienced. You wondered whether your screen had stopped when the room dropped into a deep, unsettling silence. Henry Louis Gates Jr. also took a time to grasp the significance of the situation. Being calm by nature, Sunny made an effort to regain her composure and try to use the incident as a teaching moment. She mentioned that she could tell her children the story later. Then the mayhem broke out. Greg Gutfeld of Fox News jumped right into the mess, and the effects were felt right away. What a change in circumstances. If there had been a prize for delivering it perfectly, Greg Gutfeld would have won it. He certainly deserved to be called Master of Irony. Slave owners were Sunny Hostin's ancestors, he said, laying the groundwork for a flawless singer to begin his part. It was like learning that the owner of a vegan restaurant also operates a barbecue restaurant in secret. Greg was unrestrained when the audience burst out laughing. He exposed the obvious discrepancies by deconstructing the layers of deceit with ease. Sunny's abrupt silence on the disturbing facts of her own family history stood out like a bright neon beacon to someone who has made a living by accusing others of past wrongdoing. Greg was compelled to point out the irony. Someone will make sure to inform Sunny that we aren't racist slave owners the next time she brings up race on The View. More laughter erupted from the audience, but Greg wasn't merely there for laughs. He pursued something more profound beneath the scathing humor. Sunny's response, or lack thereof, felt like a contemptuous shrug, as though the startling revelation was just another annoying reality of life, rather than accepting responsibility or providing any meaningful analysis of her family's troubled background. Greg Gutfeld wasn't the only one who couldn't believe it. The stunning announcement caused social media to go into a frenzy. Many of the responses on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter were blatantly critical. One tweet boldly claimed that Sunny Hostin's admission that her family had owned slaves was the year's biggest narrative shock.
Now and then, one of those dingbats inadvertently says something that reveals modern liberal thoughts so perfectly it deserves further study. You know, like a weird serpent that washed up on the beach.
The meme game was just as intense. One of the most popular ones parodied Sunny with the scathing tagline, "Reparations? I'm going to write myself that check immediately." Sunny's supporters swiftly defended her, claiming that she shouldn't be held responsible for her ancestors' deeds. In an effort to protect her from the criticism, one fan remarked, "You can't blame her for what people did decades ago." However, not everybody felt that way. "It's not about holding her accountable for the actions of her ancestors," one commenter retorted. "Rather, it's about the hypocrisy of condemning others while neatly disregarding the secrets in her own closet." Greg Gutfeld, however, was not done yet. He used Sunny's disclosure as a springboard to expand the discussion and offer a critique of identity politics in general. His viewpoint provoked more discussion, intensifying the continuous conflict between those who seek redress for wrongs committed in the past and others who maintain that such matters belong in the past. Greg continued after that. "Identity politics," he continued, "oversimplifies complicated matters. Such storylines may quickly backfire," he cautioned. Greg claims that an excessive emphasis on race and ancestry runs the risk of obscuring the subtleties and unique circumstances that make each individual unique. The discussion was further advanced by the contribution of political commentator Lawrence O'Donnell. "This is the result of being overly obsessed with race," he said. "It eventually backfires because you lose sight of the person, the specifics, and the bigger picture." O'Donnell's criticism resonated, especially with regard to Sunny Hostin. O'Donnell shifted the emphasis to personal responsibility, emphasizing that it is more important to be who you are today and what you do now than it was to be your predecessors. Some questioned whether Sunny, who has long been an outspoken supporter of bringing attention to past wrongdoings and encouraging accountability, was now facing a personal reckoning because of this line of reasoning. She has long spearheaded conversations about the significance of confronting the past, but now that the roles had been reversed, some were questioning whether Sunny should turn inward. Greg Gutfeld's 5-person panel had a field day with the issue as it developed. One of the co-hosts questioned why Sunny needed to condemn herself after spending so much time denouncing the ancestors of slave owners. Could this be the moment that calls into doubt Sunny's own story? The question reverberated around the room, leaving many wondering.
You a lot, but that's only because they keep talking. Those hens are always clucking. They get to say stupid stuff for an hour every day, and then I get to say stupid stuff for an hour every day, except on purpose. But every now and then, one of those dingbats inadvertently says something that reveals modern liberal thoughts so perfectly it deserves.
Given that Sunny Hostin didn't appear to fully comprehend her own identity, one observer noted the irony of her intense involvement in identity politics. Some observers viewed the disclosure as a lost chance for Sunny to have a more profound and reflective talk, even though the internet swiftly made it into a widely shared joke. She could have welcomed the opportunity to re-evaluate her position rather than flatly rejecting the revelation. A more thorough and nuanced conversation on identity, history, and the difficulties of both individual and ancestral accountability would have been triggered by this discovery. Simply said, Sunny may have said something like, "I've just discovered something startling about my own family, and it's making me rethink how I handle these discussions from now on." The incident might have been a potent teaching opportunity for her audience as well as herself if she had been more open and vulnerable. Instead, it seemed more like a hasty shrug, an effort to ignore the disclosure without really considering its ramifications. Even her fellow View co-hosts appeared unsure on how to handle the embarrassing circumstance. Known for her witty remarks, Whoopi Goldberg may have been tempted to make a joke like, "Sunny, would you like me to get you coffee? Or ought we to request a refill from your slave-owning forebears?" One could feel the tension in the room. As the group battled to find the correct words in the face of such an uncomfortable fact, it was clear that nobody knew exactly how to react to this bombshell. The incident demonstrated how challenging and complicated it may be to face the unsettling realities of one's own past as well as the legacy of identity politics. Fundamentally, this is about more than just Sunny. It serves as a warning about the dangers of arrogance and the importance of humility. Everyone is impacted by the tangled and uneasy complexity of history. Sometimes racism comes back to haunt you after you've spent your entire life looking for it. It was silently waiting in Sunny Hostin's family's history. There is no more obvious irony. Though they spend an hour every day spewing drivel, the perspective is infamous for its ceaseless talk, and occasionally one of their remarks highlights the shortcomings of contemporary liberal philosophy. What will happen to Sunny next? Will she own up to this embarrassing admission and engage in a genuine dialogue? Or will she keep acting as if nothing has changed? Time will tell. However, there is little doubt that this tale will endure for a very long time. Debates, laughter, and innumerable memes have already been generated by it. This incident will unavoidably come up again when Sunny makes a moral case. Reminding this episode will undoubtedly come up again the next time Sunny argues about morality, reminding her that she is familiar with the intricacies of her own family's past.